Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt invisible to someone you deeply care about? Maybe you've tried to impress him, make him notice you, or even prove your worth, only to feel as though he's looking right past you. The frustration, the self-doubt, the endless questioning. Why doesn't he see you for who you truly are? Here's the truth. Many of us fall into the trap of believing that our value needs to be loudly proclaimed or externally validated. Society has taught us to seek attention, to compete, and to perform, as if our worth depends on how brightly we shine compared to others. But what if I told you that real power, the kind that makes him unable to look away, doesn't come from shouting your worth to the rooftops? It comes from mastering quiet strategies that speak to the soul, not the ego. Think about this. What makes someone unforgettable? It's not loud gestures or dramatic displays. It's subtlety, it's presence, it's knowing your own value so deeply that others can't help but see it too. In this video, we'll explore 7 transformative strategies that are rooted in stoicism and timeless wisdom. These aren't quick fixes or superficial tricks. They are profound ways to embody your worth, so he sees you as extraordinary without you ever needing to tell him. We'll dive into the misconceptions about relationships and self-worth, unravel the myths that have been holding you back, and reveal a framework that will change how you approach not just him, but yourself. If you're ready to leave behind the noise and embrace a more powerful way of being, let's begin with the first strategy. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the end because every strategy builds on the last. The real magic happens when you combine them. 1. Mastering the art of subtle confidence. Confidence, it's a word thrown around so often that it's almost lost its meaning. We're told to just be confident as if it's as simple as flipping a switch. But here's the secret most people miss. Confidence isn't about being the loudest voice in the room or dominating every conversation. True confidence is quiet, steady, and magnetic. It's the kind that doesn't need validation because it comes from a place of unshakable self-belief. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine walking into a room where you don't know anyone. What would make someone notice you, really notice you? It's not about having the flashiest outfit or the boldest laugh. It's about how you carry yourself. Subtle confidence is in the way you hold your head high, make deliberate eye contact, and offer a genuine, warm smile. It's in the way you listen intently when someone speaks, rather than waiting for your turn to talk. When it comes to men, this kind of confidence speaks volumes. Men are instinctively drawn to women who are grounded and self-assured, women who don't need to prove their worth because they already know it. Ask yourself, are you confident in who you are, or are you performing confidence for others? So, how do you cultivate this quiet, irresistible confidence? Start with your body language. It's been said that 90% of communication is non-verbal. Do you walk into a room with your shoulders back, your chin slightly lifted, and your movements purposeful? Or do you shrink yourself, avoiding eye contact and second-guessing your every step? Practice standing tall, even when you feel uncertain. Over time, your body will train your mind to believe in your worth. Next, focus on your mindset. Confidence isn't about never doubting yourself, it's about embracing your imperfections while knowing they don't define you. This is where the philosophy of Stoicism comes into play. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the ability to focus on what you can control and let go of what you can't. You can't control how he reacts to you, but you can control how you show up. Are you putting your energy into becoming the best version of yourself, or are you obsessing over whether he likes you? Here's a powerful exercise. Make a list of all the things you admire about yourself, qualities, talents, accomplishments, and even your quirks. Read it daily. Let these truths anchor you. The more you internalize your own value, the less you'll need external validation, and the more naturally confident you'll become. But subtle confidence isn't just about how you feel about yourself, it's also about how you interact with him. Pay attention to the way you communicate, Do you talk too much out of nervousness or try to fill every silence? Instead, embrace pauses in conversation. Be comfortable with silence. It's where mystery and intrigue grow. Let him lean in, ask questions, and seek to understand you. This is where the concept of love stoic fits so beautifully. To be a love stoic is to embody calm self-assurance in your relationships. It's about knowing that you don't need to chase anyone because you already have everything you need within you self. When you live with this kind of quiet confidence, men will naturally see your worth. Finally, remember this. True confidence doesn't mean you'll never feel insecure. It means you don't let insecurity control you. The next time you feel the urge to prove yourself, pause and ask, what would a confident version of me do right now? Would she over-explain herself? Would she seek approval? Or would she simply smile and let her presence speak for itself? This quiet confidence is your foundation. It's the first step to making him not just notice you, but truly see you. And trust me, once he does, he won't forget it. 2. Cultivating your own happiness and fulfillment. Let's pause for a moment and ask an important question. When was the last time you did something purely for yourself? Not for him, not for anyone else, but for you. If the answer doesn't come easily, it's time to change that, because nothing is more magnetic than a woman who radiates happiness and fulfillment from within. Here's a truth you need to hear. Men are drawn to women who have full, vibrant lives of their own. Why? Because it shows you're not looking for someone to complete you. You're already whole. Think about it. If he senses that your happiness depends on him, it can feel like pressure. But if he sees you thriving, pursuing your passions, and living your best life, he'll want to be a part of that energy. So, how do you cultivate your own happiness in a way that makes him see your worth? It starts with rediscovering what lights you up. Take a moment to reflect. What hobbies, activities, or dreams have you set aside? Maybe it's painting, writing, hiking, dancing, or starting a small business. Whatever it is, make time for it. Show him that your life is rich and fulfilling, with or without him. This doesn't mean you should pretend you don't care about him. Far from it. Instead, it's about shifting the focus back to you. When you prioritize your own happiness, you naturally become more confident, joyful, and intriguing. And here's the beautiful part. Your happiness will inspire his. One of the most overlooked aspects of personal fulfillment is your relationship with yourself. Are you treating yourself with the love and care you deserve? Are you giving yourself permission to rest, to explore, and to grow? It's easy to fall into the trap of neglecting your needs, especially when you're focused on someone else. But let me remind you, you can't pour from an empty cup. Now, here's where the magic happens. When you're genuinely happy and fulfilled, you'll notice that the energy you bring into your interactions with him will shift. Instead of seeking his approval, you'll simply enjoy his company. Instead of worrying about how he feels about you, you'll focus on whether he aligns with your already amazing life. And that shift, it's incredibly attractive. Think about the concept of love stoic again. To love stoically means to find joy within yourself rather than relying on someone else to provide it. This doesn't mean you're detached or emotionless. It means you're steady, independent, and capable of creating your own happiness. When he sees you embodying this kind of self-reliance, he'll view you as someone who adds value to his life, not someone who needs to be saved or completed. Let's talk about practical ways to cultivate this happiness. Start small. Dedicate just 15 minutes a day to something that brings you joy. It could be journaling, listening to your favorite music, or taking a walk in nature. Gradually, expand that time and explore bigger pursuits. Maybe it's learning a new skill, joining a club, or traveling to a place you've always wanted to visit. Another key to fulfillment is surrounding yourself with positive influences. Do your friends uplift and inspire you? Are your surroundings conducive to growth and happiness? If not, it might be time to make changes. Your environment plays a huge role in your well-being, and when you're in a good place mentally and emotionally, it shows. Now, let's break to him. When you're pursuing your own happiness, you're setting a powerful example. He'll see that you're someone who doesn't settle, who takes charge of her life, and who knows how to enjoy it. This not only makes you more attractive, but also challenges him to step up his game. He'll want to be the kind of man who matches your energy, who contributes to your happiness rather than detracting from it. But let me be clear. Cultivating your own happiness isn't about making him jealous or proving anything to him. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about showing yourself and him that your worth isn't dependent on his attention or affection. It's about living a life so rich and fulfilling that anyone who enters it feels lucky to be there. Here's something fun to try. The next time you're with him, share something you're genuinely excited about. Maybe it's a project you're working on, a goal you're chasing, or a book you're loving. Watch how he reacts. When you speak with passion and joy, it's contagious. He'll see a side of you that's dynamic, inspiring, and utterly captivating. As we wrap up this strategy, let me remind you of this. Happiness isn't a destination, it's a journey. It's about finding joy in the little moments and creating a life that feels good to you. And when you do that, your worth will shine through effortlessly. If you're feeling inspired by this strategy, take a moment to let me know. Hit that like button and drop a comment with number 1 if this resonates with you. I'd love to hear how you're going to prioritize your happiness this week. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video filled with empowering strategies like this one. You have so much potential, so much light. It's time to let it shine for yourself and for anyone lucky enough to be part of your life. Shall we move on to the next strategy? Let's keep building this incredible journey together. 3. Setting boundaries with grace. Have you ever been afraid to say no because you thought it might push him away? Maybe you've agreed to things you weren't comfortable with, all in the name of keeping the peace, or trying to show how easygoing you are. It's a common trap, one that many of us fall into. But here's the hard truth. Without boundaries, there can be no respect, and without respect, there can be no true connection. Setting boundaries isn't about creating walls or being difficult. It's about showing him that you value yourself enough to protect your time, energy, and emotions. Think of boundaries as a form of self-respect that quietly communicates, "I know my worth, and I honor it." This is a lesson deeply rooted in Stoicism. The idea that we must focus on what we can control, our own actions, thoughts, and responses, and not be swayed by external pressures. So, what does setting boundaries with grace look like? First, it's important to understand that boundaries are not ultimatums. They're not about punishing or manipulating him. Instead, they're clear, kind expressions of your needs and values. When you establish boundaries with grace, you create a foundation of mutual respect that makes him see you as someone who knows her worth and won't settle for less. Let's explore this further with an example. Imagine he cancels plans last minute. Instead of brushing it off repeatedly, consider this response. "I understand things come up, but I value my time and appreciate when plans are kept." See how this statement is firm yet kind. It doesn't accuse or shame, but it clearly communicates your expectation. Over time, this kind of clarity teaches him how you expect to be treated. Boundaries also apply to emotional availability. Are you giving too much of yourself too soon? Are you always available, responding to every text instantly, or rearranging your schedule to accommodate him? While it's natural to want to be there for someone you care about, overextending yourself can send the message that you value his needs over your own. Instead, practice a balanced approach. Allow space for him to miss you, to wonder what you're doing, and to make the effort to connect with you. Now, let's address a critical fear many people have when setting boundaries: the fear of rejection. It's natural to worry that if you assert yourself, he might pull away. But let me ask you this. Would you rather build a connection based on honesty and respect or on fear and insecurity? When you set boundaries, you're not pushing him away, you're inviting him to meet you at your level. The right man won't be intimidated by your boundaries, he'll respect them. This is where self-awareness plays a crucial role. Take some time to reflect on what your boundaries are. What are your non-negotiables in a relationship? Maybe it's consistent communication, honesty, or shared values. Knowing your boundaries helps you enforce them with confidence. And when you communicate them calmly and clearly, you project a sense of self-assurance that's incredibly attractive. Here's a helpful exercise. Write down 3 boundaries you want to establish in your relationships. These could be related to how you spend your time, the way you expect to be treated, or the kind of emotional availability you're willing to offer. Once you've identified them, practice articulating them in a calm, clear, and kind way. Remember, boundaries are about creating clarity, not conflict. It's also important to recognize that setting boundaries isn't a one-time event, it's an ongoing practice. People will test your boundaries, intentionally or unintentionally, and it's up to you to reinforce them. This doesn't mean you have to be rigid or unyielding. Flexibility is important, but so is consistency. For example, if you set a boundary about needing personal space, and he pushes against it, gently remind him why it's important to you. One of the most beautiful aspects of setting boundaries is how it shifts the dynamic of the relationship. When you have clear boundaries, you're no longer chasing him or seeking his approval. Instead, you're creating a space where mutual respect can thrive. He'll begin to see you as someone who values herself deeply, and that, in turn, will make him value you more. This process also has a ripple effect on your own self-esteem. Each time you uphold a boundary, you reinforce the belief that you are worthy of respect. Over time, this becomes a powerful cycle. The more you respect yourself, the more others respect you, and the more confident you become. Let's not forget the subtler side of boundaries, the energy you project. Sometimes boundaries don't even need to be spoken. They can be felt. When you carry yourself with quiet confidence and self-respect, people instinctively understand how to treat you. It's the difference between being someone who is easily taken for granted and someone who commands admiration without saying a word. But here's the key to all of this. Setting boundaries isn't about control. It's about alignment. When you set and maintain boundaries, you're aligning your actions with your values. This not only makes you feel more authentic and empowered, but it also attracts people who appreciate and support your true self. Remember, boundaries are an act of love, not just for yourself, but for him too. When you establish clear expectations, you're giving him the opportunity to rise to them. And if he does, it strengthens the connection. If he doesn't, it creates the clarity you need to decide whether he's truly right for you. As we close this strategy, I want you to take a moment to reflect. How often do you prioritize his needs over your own? How often do you compromise your values to avoid conflict? It's time to shift that narrative. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's essential. And when you do it with grace, you'll not only command his respect, but also deepen his admiration for you. Boundaries aren't barriers, they're bridges to healthier, stronger connections. And when you master the art of setting them, you step into a version of yourself that's undeniably worthy. Shall we keep building on this foundation with the next strategy? Let's dive deeper into the transformative journey of making him see your true worth. 4. Practicing active listening and understanding. Have you ever been in a conversation where you felt truly heard? Not just listened to, but genuinely understood, as though the other person was fully present with you. Now think about how rare and powerful that feeling is. This is the essence of active listening and understanding, and it's one of the quietest yet most impactful ways to make a man see your true worth. Here's the truth. Many people listen to respond, not to understand. They're busy thinking about what they'll say next or how they'll share their own experiences. But when you listen with intention, giving him your undivided attention, it creates a connection that's deeply memorable. He feels seen, valued, and respected, and that feeling is something he won't forget. Active listening is more than just hearing his words. It's about reading between the lines and picking up on what he's not saying. Pay attention to his tone, body language, and the emotions behind his words. When he talks about his dreams, his challenges, or even his day-to-day life, show him that you care by reflecting his feelings. For example, if he shares a frustration at work, you might say, "It sounds like that's been really stressful for you. How are you handling it?" This simple act of acknowledgement shows that you're engaged and empathetic. Here's where it gets even more interesting. When you listen actively, you're not just building his trust, you're also giving yourself an opportunity to learn more about him. What does he value? What excites him? What fears does he carry? This deeper understanding helps you decide if he aligns with your life and values. Remember, listening isn't just for his benefit, it's for yours too. But let's not stop there. True connection comes from balanced conversation. While it's important to listen, it's equally important to share your thoughts and feelings. Active listening doesn't mean silencing your voice. It means creating a space where both of you can be open and authentic. When you share your own stories and perspectives, it deepens the bond even further. Now, let's address a common mistake: interrupting. It's easy to jump in with advice or a related story, especially when you're excited to connect. But one of the best gifts you can give someone is the space to finish their thoughts. Practice pausing before you respond. Let him know you're truly taking in what he's saying. This pause not only shows respect but also gives the conversation a natural rhythm. Another key aspect of active listening is curiosity. Ask thoughtful questions that encourage him to open up. If he mentions a goal he's working toward, ask, "What inspired you to pursue that?" Or "What's been the most rewarding part so far?" Genuine curiosity makes him feel like you're interested in who he is, not just on a surface level, but at his core. And when he feels that connection, it naturally draws him closer to you. But let me be clear. Active listening isn't about agreeing with everything he says or losing yourself in his perspective. It's about creating a dialogue where both of you feel heard and valued. If you disagree with something, don't be afraid to share your viewpoint, kindly and respectfully. This balance of empathy and authenticity is what makes conversations truly meaningful. Let's talk about body language. When you're actively listening, your non-verbal cues matter just as much as your words. Make eye contact, nod occasionally to show you're engaged, and avoid distractions like your phone or other interruptions. These small gestures signal that you're fully present with him, and they create a sense of intimacy that words alone can't achieve. Here's a powerful technique to try. Paraphrase what he said before responding. For example, if he shares a concern about a family situation, you might say, "So, you're feeling torn because you want to help, but you're not sure how to approach it. Is that right?" This shows him that you're not only listening but also truly understanding his perspective. It also invites him to clarify or expand on his thoughts, deepening the conversation even further. One of the most beautiful things about active listening is that it often inspires him to reciprocate. When he feels genuinely heard, he's more likely to listen to you with the same level of attentiveness and care. This creates a cycle of mutual respect and understanding that strengthens your connection over time. Active listening also sets you apart. In a world full of distractions and half-hearted conversations, being fully present is a rare quality. It makes you memorable, not because of what you say, but because of how you make him feel. And feelings, especially the feeling of being valued, are what leave a lasting impression. Before we wrap up this strategy, let me emphasize this. Active listening isn't about manipulation or pretending to care. It's about building a genuine connection based on respect and curiosity. When you approach conversations with this mindset, you'll not only deepen your bond with him but also grow in your own self-awareness and emotional intelligence. If this strategy resonates with you, let me know. Hit that like button and drop a comment with number 1 if you've ever experienced the power of active listening. And if you're ready to dive even deeper into these transformative strategies, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got so much more to explore together, and I promise you, it's only going to get better. Now, let's keep building this journey. Are you ready to uncover the next strategy? Let's continue and unlock even more ways to make him see your true worth. 5. Showing appreciation in small, thoughtful ways. Imagine this. You've had a long, exhausting day, and someone does something small yet thoughtful for you. Maybe they bring you your favorite coffee, send you a heartfelt message, or remember a detail you mentioned weeks ago. How does it make you feel? Seen? Appreciated? Loved? These seemingly simple gestures can have a profound impact, and they hold the key to one of the quietest but most powerful strategies to make a man see your true worth, showing genuine appreciation in small, thoughtful ways. Let's start with why appreciation matters so much. Deep down, we all want to feel valued and acknowledged for who we are and what we bring to a relationship. Men, just like anyone else, thrive on positive reinforcement. When you recognize his efforts, whether it's something as small as holding the door for you or as significant as supporting you during a tough time, you're telling him that you see him, that his actions matter, and that you don't take him for granted. And here's the magic. Appreciation doesn't just make him feel good, it also strengthens your bond by creating a foundation of respect and gratitude. Now, before you start thinking that showing appreciation means showering him with endless praise, let's clarify what thoughtful appreciation looks like. It's not about exaggerating or overdoing it, it's about being sincere and specific. Generic compliments like "you're great" might be nice, but they don't carry the same weight as something personal and meaningful. Instead, try something like, "I really appreciate how you always make me laugh, even on tough days. It means a lot to me." See the difference? The key is to focus on the details that make him unique. One of the most effective ways to show appreciation is through actions, not just words. Small, thoughtful gestures can speak volumes. For example, if he's mentioned that he loves a particular snack or drink, surprise him with it one day. If he's stressed about work, offer to help in a way that feels natural, maybe by giving him space to unwind or encouraging him with a kind word. These actions show that you're paying attention and that you care about his well-being. But here's where it gets even more powerful. Appreciation works both ways. When you make an effort to notice and value the good in him, you also train yourself to focus on the positive aspects of your relationship. This creates a ripple effect that strengthens your connection and deepens your emotional intimacy. It's a subtle shift, but over time, it can transform the dynamic between you. Let's take this concept a step further. Appreciation isn't just about what he does for you, it's also about acknowledging who he is. Maybe he's patient, hardworking, or creative. Maybe he has a unique perspective on life or a talent that you admire. When you take the time to recognize these qualities, you're not just boosting his confidence, you're reinforcing the idea that you see him for the person he truly is. This brings us to an important point. Showing appreciation isn't about keeping score or expecting something in return. It's about creating a culture of gratitude in your relationship. This mindset aligns beautifully with the philosophy of Stoicism, which teaches us to focus on the present moment and to find joy in the simple, everyday aspects of life. By appreciating the little things, you cultivate a sense of contentment and connection that transcends superficial gestures. However, it's also essential to strike a balance. While showing appreciation is important, It's equally crucial to ensure that your efforts are reciprocated. A healthy relationship is built on mutual respect and care. If you find yourself constantly giving without receiving, it's worth reflecting on whether the dynamic is truly serving you. Appreciation should flow both ways, creating a cycle of gratitude that strengthens your bond. Let's explore another angle: timing. The impact of appreciation often depends on when and how you express it. For instance, catching him off guard with a compliment or thoughtful gesture can make it feel even more special. Imagine him coming home after a challenging day, and you've prepared his favorite meal or left him a simple note saying, "Thank you for always being so supportive." These moments, though small, have a way of staying with him. It's also worth mentioning that showing appreciation doesn't always have to be serious or sentimental. Humor and playfulness can be just as effective. Maybe you tease him in a way that shows you value his quirks, or create an inside joke that becomes a cherished part of your connection. These lighter moments add depth and dimension to your relationship, reminding him that you genuinely enjoy being with him. Here's a question to reflect on. When was the last time you showed appreciation in a way that felt truly authentic to you? It's easy to fall into routines or forget to express gratitude amid the busyness of life. But when you make it a priority, it becomes a habit, one that enriches both your relationship and your own sense of well-being. Finally, let's talk about the long-term impact of appreciation. Over time, these small acts of gratitude create a foundation of trust and mutual respect. He begins to associate you with positivity and warmth, seeing you as someone who genuinely values him, not for what he can do for you, but for who he is. This, in turn, inspires him to show up as his best self, creating a relationship dynamic where both of you feel seen, respected, and cherished. As we close this strategy, remember this: appreciation doesn't have to be grand or elaborate to be meaningful. Often, it's the little things, the thoughtful gestures, the kind words, the genuine smiles that leave the biggest impact. By showing appreciation in small, thoughtful ways, you're not just making him see your worth, you're building a connection that feels rich, fulfilling, and deeply authentic. Are you ready to uncover the next strategy? Let's continue this journey of quiet yet transformative ways to make him truly see your value. 6. Embracing mystery and intrigue. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you left him wondering about you? Truly curious about who you are, what you think, and what makes you tick? If you're like most people, you might feel the need to share everything about yourself up front, hoping it will strengthen your connection. But what if I told you that one of the most magnetic qualities you can possess is an air of mystery? There's a reason the concept of mystery has been woven into love stories for centuries. It sparks curiosity, keeps him intrigued, and draws him closer, eager to uncover more. The key here isn't about playing games or withholding who you are. It's about revealing yourself in layers, like the pages of a captivating novel. Let's dive into how you can embrace this quality in a way that feels natural and authentic. First, let's talk about pacing. When you meet someone you're excited about, it's tempting to put everything on the table at once: your life story, your dreams, your challenges. But think of building a connection like cooking a gourmet meal. Would you throw all the ingredients into the pot at once and call it done? Or would you layer the flavors, letting each one develop and complement the others? Relationships thrive on the same principle. When you reveal parts of yourself gradually, it gives him time to truly appreciate and absorb who you are. One simple way to embrace mystery is by holding back just a little. For instance, if he asks about your weekend plans, you don't need to give him a detailed itinerary. A playful, "I have something fun planned, I'll tell you about it later," leaves him intrigued. It's not about being evasive. It's about creating a sense of anticipation. This subtle approach builds excitement and keeps the connection dynamic. Another key to cultivating intrigue is to maintain your individuality. One of the most alluring aspects of mystery is the sense that there's a world within you that's uniquely yours. This doesn't mean shutting him out. It means having passions, hobbies, and goals that aren't entirely centered on him. Whether it's a creative project, a fitness goal, or a love for travel, let your interests shine. When he sees you pursuing your life with enthusiasm, he'll naturally want to know more about what drives you. Mystery also thrives in silence. In a world full of noise and constant communication, being comfortable with pauses can be incredibly powerful. You don't have to fill every silence with words. Sometimes, letting a moment linger speaks volumes. Imagine sitting across from him, sharing a quiet smile, and letting the energy between you fill the space. This kind of presence can be more compelling than anything you say. Let's talk about storytelling, a skill that can amplify your mystery. When you share stories from your life, consider leaving some details to the imagination. Instead of recounting every fact, focus on the emotions and highlights. For example, instead of saying, "I went to Paris last summer and visited the Eiffel Tower," you could say, "I had the most magical experience in Paris last summer. There was this moment that felt straight out of a dream." See how that opens the door for curiosity. He'll want to know more. And that curiosity keeps him engaged. Another way to cultivate mystery is by embracing spontaneity. Predictability can feel comfortable, but it doesn't always spark excitement. If you're always available, always following the same patterns, it can diminish the sense of discovery. Instead, surprise him occasionally. Change up your routine. Plan a spontaneous adventure or introduce him to something new. These unexpected moments keep the connection fresh and intriguing. But let me emphasize something important. Mystery isn't about being distant or aloof. It's about balance. While it's essential to keep some things private, it's equally important to show vulnerability when the moment feels right. Sharing your hopes, fears, and dreams in the right context deepens the connection and makes the intrigue even more meaningful. After all, mystery isn't about being a closed book. It's about being a book he can't wait to keep reading. Here's another aspect of mystery that often goes overlooked: your energy. Have you ever noticed how some people can walk into a room and instantly captivate everyone's attention without saying a word? It's not about what they do. It's about how they carry themselves. Confidence, self-assuredness, and a sense of calm create an aura of mystery. This is where the philosophy of Stoicism can play a powerful role. By staying grounded and composed, even in uncertain situations, you project an inner strength that's incredibly attractive. One practical way to embody this energy is by focusing on your self-care. When you prioritize your physical, emotional, and mental well-being, it shows. Taking care of yourself isn't just about looking good, it's about feeling good and radiating that confidence in everything you do. Whether it's through a fitness routine, meditation, or simply indulging in activities that bring you joy, this self-assuredness becomes a part of your presence. Let's not forget the role of humor in mystery. A playful, teasing remark can create a moment of connection while leaving just enough to the imagination. For example, if he asks about a detail of your life, you might respond with a sly smile. "Oh, that's a story for another day." It's light-hearted, fun, and leaves him curious without feeling shut out. As we wrap up this strategy, remember that mystery isn't about manipulation or withholding who you are. It's about creating a sense of wonder, a spark that keeps him intrigued and excited to learn more about you. When you embrace this quality, you not only captivate him but also deepen your own sense of confidence and self-discovery. Now, if you've been loving these strategies so far, don't forget to hit that like button and drop a comment with number 1 if this one resonates with you. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next powerful strategy coming up. We're building something incredible here, and I promise, the best is yet to come. Let's keep this journey going. Are you ready to uncover the final strategy? Stay tuned, because it's going to tie everything together in a way that transforms how you see yourself and how he sees you. 7. Demonstrating unwavering self-respect. Imagine this scenario. You're in a conversation with someone, and they make a comment or take an action that subtly disrespects your boundaries or values. How do you respond? Do you brush it off to avoid conflict, or do you address it calmly but firmly? The answer to this question reveals a lot about your level of self-respect, and here's why it matters. Self-respect is the cornerstone of how others perceive your worth. If you respect yourself unwaveringly, others, including him, will too. Let's start by exploring what self-respect truly means. It's not about arrogance or entitlement. It's about knowing your values, honoring them, and standing firm in who you are, even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. It's about being able to say, "This is who I am. This is what I deserve, and I won't settle for less." And the beauty of self-respect? It's magnetic. A woman who respects herself is both admired and remembered. But how do you demonstrate this unwavering self-respect in a way that's quiet yet powerful? The first step is to align your actions with your values. Ask yourself, what do I stand for? What are my non-negotiables? These could be related to how you're treated, how you spend your time, or the kind of relationship you're looking for. When you have clarity on these things, you can make decisions that reflect your self-worth, rather than compromising to please someone else. For example, let's say he cancels plans at the last minute without a valid reason. Instead of brushing it off repeatedly, you might say, "I understand things happen, but I value my time and appreciate reliability." This kind of response isn't confrontational, it's clear and respectful. It communicates that while you're understanding, you also have standards. Another way to demonstrate self-respect is through the choices you make about your time and energy. Are you constantly rearranging your schedule to accommodate him, or do you have a balanced approach that includes your own priorities and commitments? When you value your own time, it shows him that your life is full and meaningful, with or without him. This isn't about playing games or making him chase you. It's about living authentically and showing that you have a rich life of your own. Let's talk about the role of self-awareness. To truly respect yourself, you need to be honest with yourself about your needs, emotions, and boundaries. Are you giving too much in the relationship? Are you tolerating behavior that doesn't align with your values? Self-respect starts with self-awareness. When you take the time to reflect on what feels right for you, you're better equipped to make choices that honor your worth. One of the most powerful ways to demonstrate self-respect is by practicing assertive communication. This doesn't mean being aggressive or confrontational. It means expressing your thoughts and feelings clearly and confidently. For example, if you feel undervalued in a situation, instead of staying silent or becoming passive-aggressive, you might say, "I feel like my efforts in this relationship aren't being acknowledged, and I'd like us to work on that together." This kind of communication not only shows that you respect yourself, but also invites mutual respect and growth. Let's address a common fear: the fear of pushing him away by asserting yourself. Many women worry that if they set boundaries or stand up for themselves, they'll come across as difficult or high maintenance. But here's the truth. The right man will respect you more for knowing your worth and having the courage to stand by it. If he doesn't, it's a reflection of his own limitations, not yours. This brings us to an important point. Self-respect isn't just about how you interact with him, it's also about how you treat yourself. Are you taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being? Are you investing in your growth and happiness? When you prioritize yourself, you send a powerful message, not just to him, but to everyone around you, that you value and honor who you are. Another critical aspect of self-respect is how you handle rejection or disappointment. Life and relationships won't always go the way you hope, but your response in those moments reveals your character. Do you cling to situations or people who don't serve you? Or do you gracefully let go and trust that better opportunities lie ahead? Demonstrating self-respect means knowing when to walk away, not out of bitterness, but out of a deep belief in your own worth. This aligns beautifully with the philosophy of Stoicism, which teaches us to focus on what we can control, our own actions and attitudes, and to let go of what we cannot. When you approach relationships with this mindset, you free yourself from the need to control or change others. Instead, you focus on being the best version of yourself and trust that the right connections will follow. Let's delve into another aspect of self-respect: consistency. It's one thing to set boundaries or communicate your needs, but it's another to uphold them consistently. If you allow your boundaries to be crossed repeatedly, it sends a mixed message. Consistency shows that you're serious about respecting yourself, and it builds trust in your relationships. Finally, let's talk about the energy you project when you embody self-respect. A woman who respects herself carries a certain presence, an aura of confidence, calmness, and assurance. This doesn't mean you'll never have moments of doubt or vulnerability. It means that even in those moments, you come back to your center. You remind yourself of your worth and act accordingly. As we close this strategy, take a moment to reflect. Are there areas in your life where you've been compromising your self-respect? What steps can you take to realign with your values and honor your worth? Remember, self-respect isn't just a one-time decision, it's a lifelong practice. And the more you commit to it, the more others, including him, will see and respect your true worth. By demonstrating unwavering self-respect, you're not just making a statement about who you are, you're setting a standard for how you deserve to be treated. It's a quiet yet powerful way to show him, and the world, that you know your value, and that you're not afraid to stand by it. So here we are, at the end of a journey through 7 quiet yet profound strategies to make him see your true worth. Let's pause for a moment and reflect on everything we've uncovered. From mastering subtle confidence to cultivating your own happiness, setting boundaries with grace, practicing active listening, showing thoughtful appreciation, embracing mystery, and demonstrating unwavering self-respect, you now hold the keys to something extraordinary: the power to be seen, valued, and cherished for exactly who you are. But here's the real secret. These strategies are not just about him. They're about you. Each of these practices is rooted in the idea that your worth doesn't come from how others perceive you, it comes from how you perceive yourself. When you embrace these strategies, you're not just captivating him, you're stepping into your power as a woman who knows her value and lives it every single day. Let's talk about what this means moving forward. If you've ever felt invisible, overlooked, or underappreciated, I hope you now see that the answer isn't to try harder or shout louder. The answer is to go inward, to cultivate the qualities that make you magnetic from the inside out. When you do this, something remarkable happens. The right people, including the right man, will naturally be drawn to you. Why? Because you'll radiate a quiet confidence and authenticity that's impossible to ignore. Remember this: true worth isn't something you prove, it's something you embody. And when you embody it, the world, and the people in it, responds accordingly. This is the essence of Stoicism and the philosophy of the Love Stoic. By focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and energy, you free yourself from the need for external validation and find joy and fulfillment within yourself. But let's be clear, this isn't about perfection. It's not about never feeling insecure or making mistakes. It's about committing to a journey of growth, self-awareness, and alignment with your values. Each step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to the version of yourself who is undeniably worthy. So where do you go from here? Start small. Choose one strategy to focus on this week. Maybe it's practicing subtle confidence by improving your posture and eye contact. Or perhaps it's cultivating happiness by dedicating time to a passion you've neglected. Whatever it is, take that first step with intention and trust the process. Growth doesn't happen overnight, but every small effort adds up to something extraordinary. As you embrace these strategies, remember that the goal isn't to make him, or anyone else, approve of you. The goal is to live in alignment with your worth, to create a life that feels good to you, and to build relationships that reflect the respect and love you deserve. When you do this, the right people, including the right man, will not only see your worth, they'll cherish it. And as we close this chapter together, I want to leave you with one final thought. You are already enough. Your worth doesn't depend on what you do, how you look, or who chooses you. It's inherent. It's yours. These strategies are simply tools to help you reconnect with that truth and share it with the world. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope these insights empower you to step into your full potential and embrace your worth unapologetically. If you found this journey valuable, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might need it too. Together, we can create a world where every woman knows and owns her value. Here's to you, to your growth, your power, and your limitless potential. Stay true to yourself, keep shining, and never settle for anything less than you deserve. Until next time, take care and keep building the life and love you desire. You've got this.